Welcome to Ulava USA. This is Question Mark. And in this video I'd like to discuss the DYNEO DD and MAGIO products and how they compare to one another. So let's start with the DYNEO first. The DYNEO DD heating circulator can be optioned as a heating circulator with applications up to 200 degrees C in either 1 or 2 kilowatt heater versions. It can also be paired with refrigeration systems for refrigerated heating circulator combinations. We have 7 of those available, ranging from 200 watts of cooling power up to 1 kilowatt, with temperatures from minus 20 to 200 C down to minus 50 to 200 degrees C. So the MAGIO, in comparison, has 2 models where the MAGIO MS can come as an immersion circulator on a adjustable bridge or 4-liter heating tank, and the MAGIO MX comes with 6, 12, or 26-liter tanks. Both of the MAGIOs have a temperature limit up to 300 degrees C for heating circulators. And they have either 1 or 2 kilowatt heating power for the MAGIO MS, similar to the DYNEO units, but the MAGIO MX has a 3 kilowatt heater. It can also be paired with refrigeration units. We have 5 models available, ranging in temperature from minus 30 to 200 degrees C down to minus 50 to 200 degrees C, with cooling capacities starting at 220 watts up to 1 kilowatt. Let's take a look at the differences in the user interface. So the DYNEO DD has a small colored TFT with a dial and click button that you can easily navigate through the menu options to adjust your settings, operate the unit, and make any adjustments. The MAGIO models, on the other hand, have a larger colored touch screen where you just use your finger to go through and navigate the menu. So it's a lot simpler to use, and you can even navigate the touch screen when you have gloves on your hand in the lab. Okay. From a pump perspective, the DYNEO has a pressure-only pump with flow rate capability of 8 to 27 liters per minute and a pressure of 1.5 to 10.2 psi. So you can adjust the pump speed with the menu here using the dial and click function. It also incorporates a manual diverter valve where you can physically adjust the ratio between the internal and external flow. You know, for example, if you have the unit plumbed to an external application, you want to divert all of the flow over to that, you can move this over to the far left for 100% external. The pump on the MAGIO models, in comparison, is a pressure suction pump. It is adjustable electronically only, but it has a lot higher pressure and flow rate capability than the DYNEO pump. So it has the capability of doing 16 to 31 liters per minute with the pressure values of 3.5 to 13.3 psi. Okay. So both units incorporate external PT100 capability, which is important for ensuring that your application is at the temperature you want it. And that really is the key feature of both of these model series, is to have that PT100 sensor capability. From a usability perspective as well, both units are multilingual. They're programmable. You can save up to 8 different programs with 60 steps each. So from a calibration perspective, the DYNEOs can be calibrated in either with 1, 2, or 3 points, whereas the MAGIO units, you can do a calibration of 1, 2, or up to 10. So the MAGIO has a better calibration capability. For example, if you have a very broad temperature range that you'd want to do calibration curve for, having 10 points makes you have a much closer fit to that curve than just the 3-point. Okay. In addition, the units, from a stability perspective, both systems have a plus or minus 0.01 degree temperature stability. So now we'd like to illustrate what's on the back side of DYNEO DD. Okay, so you have a USB-B port. This is for external communication via USB. We have a USB-A port, which is used for data logging, saving programs, capturing service information to send for remote diagnosis. We also have the external PT100 port so you can control from an external temperature sensor. And then this is the standard layout for the DYNEO. But in this little cutout here, you can see you can also equip the DYNEO with either an RS-232 serial port or an analog port. If you have a PLC, then you want to control externally by voltage or current. The pump connections for the DYNEO are M16 male. All MAGIO models have the following on the back of them. You have a serial port for either RS-232 or RS-485, USB Type B for USB external communication, and Ethernet connection. All MAGIO incorporate Modbus TCP/IP protocol. You also have the USB Type A for data logging, saving configuration and our programs and transferring between MAGIOs, as well as black box service data storage. Obviously, then you have your external PT100 sensor port. And this slot here is reserved for the optional analog module if you need to control via voltage or current. And there is one Stock-Eye outlet that is either 115 volt or 230 volt to control external devices such as inline solenoid valves or a cooling water valve, for example. And the MAGIO pump connections are M16 male. All right, so we just reviewed the differences and features of the DYNEO DD products and the MAGIOs. So what would lead you to choose one or the other? Remember, for the DYNEO, you have a smaller pump capability, and from a heating perspective, you only have 1 or 2 kilowatts heating power with a max temperature of 200 degrees C. Whereas on the MAGIOs, you have a stronger pressure suction pump, a lot more communication options in addition to the user touchscreen, and the heating circulators can go to 300 degrees C, and you have up to a 3 kilowatt heater in that particular, in the MAGIO model line. So both units incorporate external PT100, which is great for controlling from your application. But if you have a stringent calibration protocol, then the MAGIO has the optional 10-point calibration, which gives you that tighter calibration curve, whereas the DYNEO only has up to a 3-point calibration. So both models lines are excellent for a variety of industries and applications. If you want to do some comparisons on your own, please go to www.ulabo.us, and on our website we have a compare feature where you can select up to 4 different models, and the specifications for those units will all be on the same page, and then you can view and compare. If you would like to have a discussion with any Ulabo representative about choosing one model line over the other, please feel free to reach out, and we will gladly discuss your application needs with you. Thank you and have a great day.